weekly investment show, Sell Me This Stock. It's a competition where we analyze different stocks with the purpose to make an investment decision. During the short period of time, only 5 minutes, we are going to discuss, express, and defend our opinion. We'll figure out why the stocks of the target company are overvalued or undervalued according to peers. And finally, we will find out if it's the right time to make the financial decision. And today, our guest is Muratbek Maldibayev, Executive Director from Freedom Holding. Is a global investment banking institution with offices in the United States, former Soviet Union, and Europe. So Muratbek, first of all, welcome to our show. And today we are going to discuss the IPO of St. Petersburg Exchange. So Muratbek, can you tell us several words for our subscribers, like just short introduction to understand your plan?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, guys. Thank you very much. Today, I would like to tell you about the brief information about the SPB Exchange. The SPB Exchange is the main platform for trading international stocks in Russia right now. Since 2020, we have noted a very large increase in the number of retail investors and their interest in foreign stock exchanges like Tesla, Facebook, Alibaba, Apple, and etc. And this led to increase in the trading volume of over 10 times in Russia. So after growing this successfully and seeing big opportunities for profitable growth in the future, the SPB Exchange, former St. Petersburg Exchange, has decided to go public. It shows high profit growth right now, good profitability, and the number of active users, the number of active clients is still growing. And I think that this currently exchange is small right now, but it has plans for development, including introducing any more traded instruments, extending trading hours, because it offers a unique best price liquidity pool for clients when the US markets are closed. And yeah, I think the IPO of this company is definitely worth paying attention for retail investors.
Thank you for your introduction. And yeah, let's start with our questions. Dmitry, can you start?
Yes, Muratbek, I understand that the IPO of the St. Petersburg Exchange will be held on NASDAQ. Can you confirm that?
Yes, you're right. I can confirm that. The company is planning to be listed on NASDAQ. And the Goldman Sachs is expected to be underwriter of the company, and the IPO is expected to be in the fall of 2021.
But why is the United States? I mean, shouldn't the investors, the shareholders, be wary of possible sanctions because St. Petersburg Exchange is operating in Russia, and Russia is a country under sanctions?
Yeah, I know this, and I would like to highlight the fact that SPB Exchange doesn't have any direct participation of Russian government in its capital. So it means that yes, we know that the main shareholders are Russian financial companies, but the participation of Russian capital from Russian government in this company is indirect, so it doesn't have any direct huge impact on the company. So I believe this is the positive fact, since it reduces any potential risks for the potential investors. And why the United States? Because it's a lot more liquidity. There are a lot of investors, and as you know, our stocks under the ticker of FRHC also are listed on NASDAQ. We went public in 2010, and there are a lot of names of the Russian companies that are listed on the NASDAQ, and they are feeling well, and most investors are happy why the NASDAQ, especially NASDAQ in US, are the target for this company.
So you think there will be interest with a Russian company, another Russian company on NASDAQ?
Yes, there will be interest because I believe there is one major reason, because this company goes to public not only as an exchange, as a stock exchange, but as a fintech company, as a financial technology company. And most investors love this sector. And I think the interest will be high.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. So, Oleg, maybe
Thank
you have something to add?
Yeah, yes, but I would like to discuss more, more general things, general questions. Let's talk a little bit about business and business model. Where does most of its income come from?
Yeah, the SPB exchange actually began trading international shares in 2014. So in the Russian market, it means this is the first legal, fast, and reliable solution for the retail investors to invest in the foreign companies. So in fact, if you are investing through the SPB exchange, it means that you don't have any, you don't need to open an account with a foreign brokerage company to just open an account in Russian brokerage company who has an access to the SPB exchange. So the main amount of the SPB receives, of course, from the provision of the services, general services like clearing and depository brokerage activities. Other income includes bank accounts, repository services, listing services, and others. And major share of the revenue breakdown, it will be, of course, a clearing and a depository brokerage activity.
Okay, so you already mentioned the advantage of its business, but I would like to ask one more time: why should potential investors be interested in buying shares of St. Petersburg Exchange?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons actually, and I believe, first of all, the SPB exchange is the absolute leader in terms of the trading foreign stocks. And I believe there is a high potential for the inflow of public funds in foreign securities, because the SPB exchange is the fast-growing fintech in Russia with a strong financial results. And I would like to emphasize the last reports, because the last report shows us the financial results, especially revenue growth, was practically 4 times. That was a huge numbers, and we are expecting the influx of retail investors. Most Russian retail investors into the SPB exchange as newbies, as a new activity clients.
Yeah, that's I think that's impressive results. So, Dmitry, what you would like to ask?
Yeah, I would like to kind of dwell a little bit more upon the basically growth prospects for growth going forward. You said that it's very impressive, basically, right? St. Petersburg Exchange really has had an outstanding growth in business so far. But don't you think there might be significant slowdown going forward? All investors interested in buying Tesla and all those FANG stocks are already trading on the exchange, right? Is there any more room for growth here? I mean, what might be the catalyst for further growth, if any? I mean, will there be any more retail investors coming into the St. Petersburg Exchange?
Yeah, my opinion is that the main catalyst for growth would be low deposit rates in ordinary commercial banks, because only 11% of total savings in Russia invested in securities. Only 11% of total investments invested in securities, and just over 80% are kept on the bank deposit. So it means that if the low deposit rate do not outperform the inflation. And I believe that the most investors will be invested in securities, especially mainly in foreign securities. So additionally, the number of private investors in the stock market is growing rapidly. And if we look at the numbers, if in 2019, the number of private investors was approximately 4 million, and for the first quarter of 2021, the number increased to 11 million. This means that the SPB has a huge potential for growth if this growth rate will be held in the near future. I believe in the next 5 years, the growth rate will be the same.
Yeah, that's a really interesting figure that you mentioned about 11% of total savings. I mean that 11% of total savings, I mean in Russia are basically only invested in securities, right? It's not much compared to most of the developed countries and even some developing ones. However, in the UK, for example, this number, I mean, is a little bit greater. It's just 16%, but still it's not like, I don't know, 70 or 80%. So my concern is that this number, 11%, might not grow too much. I mean, what makes you think that the share of Russians investing in the stock market will grow any more significantly than it currently is?
Yeah, if we compare the share of the total savings, the Russia, it's 80% are saved in the bank deposits, 11% is saved in the securities. It's practically 4 or 5% of savings are in the insurance companies, And I know that the fact is that the insurance market in Russia is still at the stage of formation. So there is no market in Russia. So people are not yet willing to invest in insurance companies as in the UK. So therefore, I believe that investors will invest more of their savings in securities, and especially in foreign securities than in the insurance companies like in the UK. So the difference between is that the UK has a fantastic insurance market, and the Russia and in most cases, the Russian people, the Russian investors are not trusting the insurance companies, and there is practically no insurance market in Russia. That's why there is only one way, and it is the stock market, and especially foreign stocks, because the stocks are traded in USD, unlike the ruble that is going down according to USD.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oleg?
Yeah.
Well, we discussed the business model and some features, but I would like to ask about the competition. Let's delve a little bit in the market. What's about competitors?
Yeah, SPB Exchange currently has only one real competitor. It's a Moscow exchange, as we call it, MOEX. MOEX is developing foreign stock trading too. Actually, at the moment, I believe they have more than 200 stocks are available on the market. But there is a one major difference between MOEX and SPB. Transactions with shares are made in Russian rubles in MOEX, and the prices are indicated in the Russian rubles in MOEX. But SPB actually specializes in foreign. MOEX specializes in Russian securities. That's why MOEX turnover and revenue are significantly higher, of course, than the SPB, but the growth rates of the segments are not so high as those of SPB Exchange. So taking into consideration only the stock market, SPB Exchange is the obvious leader. So since 2020, international stocks have become much more popular than local Russian equities, because US market offers much more diversity than the Russian market. and investing in international security gives protection from the weak national currency, as I mentioned before, as all investments are made in USD or Euro. That's why in the 2020 and 2021 also were more successful for SPB Exchange in terms of number of active clients, because the clients are rapidly growing in SPB Exchange if we compare to MOIC.
So
okay, should we delve a little bit more in the figures, maybe we will discuss a little bit more the valuation and PE multiples. What's your opinion, Dmitry?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. So let's dwell, more actually on valuation. What market cap do you expect at IPO, and where does it leave us in terms of PE multiples?
The expected market capitalization of SPB Exchange is between $1 and $5 to $2.5 billion. We need to understand that only on 2020 was the first year the company showed profits. So while MOIX was a stable company that pays decent dividend yields, it means that actually we don't have any huge. I don't have in my possession huge numbers about the PE multiples. But I believe if we compare it as a 15 or 20 PE multiples, and in the next 5 years it will be a 30 or 40 PE, I believe it's fair valuation with a high potential growth, more than a double, more than a 2x. And if we compare it with another international stock exchanges, the operating margin of the SPB and the net margin of the SPB are much higher than NASDAQ or ICE. But if we compare it with the MOIX, the profitability indicators are practically the same. With the MOIX and SPB, practically the same. But I don't think that the new competitors of the SPB would be in Russian market, and because OTC market, because OTC market is very poor developed right now, and it's inaccessible for the retail investors. Foreign stock exchanges are also inaccessible for the retail investors because of very difficult to make registration of the company, foreign brokerage company account, and the various regulations and etc. So I believe the SPB exchange right now is fairly valued and has a huge potential for growth.
So you think that investors won't be comparing SPB to MOIX because, I mean, as you correctly pointed out, MOIX is trading at a much lower valuation. It's like, I think it's 14 times PE, something like that, right? 14 times earnings, so
14 times.
Much lower. So you think it's not a big deal, right? It's not a problem. It's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's not a problem because, as I mentioned before, SPB Exchange is positioning itself as a fintech company. And if we have a PE more than a 20, it's absolutely normal for the fintech company right now.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Oleg?
Yeah, thank you for this review. So one more question about the business. You know, there is an opinion that SPB Exchange may provide investors with a direct access to China's exchange. Can you confirm this?
Actually, SPB plans to expand their activities and add more instruments to its core business. But I know that at the moment, all retail investors can buy all the Chinese companies that are traded in the stock exchange with ADRs, deposit receipts. It must be, I don't know, it's Alibaba, something Tencent, and etc. and etc. But I know that at this moment there is no access to the Chinese stock exchange, but I don't exclude the possibility of providing access, especially to the Hong Kong, because the Hong Kong stock exchange is rapidly growing in China, unlike other stock exchanges.
Okay, I think I will think that that will be a big advantage.
Yeah.
So Dmitry, let's point out. Yeah, one more question. I think.
Okay. Balatbek, there's one more question actually.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be our last question for the day. But how much money is St. Petersburg Exchange going to raise on IPO, and where will the proceeds go?
Actually, there is no date right now when will be the IPO. That's why, unfortunately, I haven't possessed any information about how much money the company going to raise on the IPO. But I know that it's in the process, and the proceeds will go in the Moscow, I believe. It's the core business in the Moscow, and I know that there is still process going about the valuation and about the how much money they're going to raise with the underwriters. So I cannot answer this question, but I believe the company will explore this facts in the near future.
Right. I was just wondering, I mean, where they are going to invest into. I mean, these proceeds from IPO, it's like, I mean, buying new, I don't know, software technologies, or can you give us some hint on that?
As a fast growing company, it's normal when investing in your infrastructure. Of course, I believe they would like to buy more human intellectual, some properties. Maybe they could buy some another companies that could fit in their business model. Maybe they could invest in their technological sphere, because I know that the platform of this SPB exchange are the unique in Russia. There is no platform like them. And of course, in the core of the business, there is a lot of investors, especially Freedom Finance. The Tinkoff, they was investors recently, and other more investors are willing to expand their activities more than not only in Russia, but more than making an international business. That's why I think the money from the IPO will be invested in the core business of the company, and we will see it in near future in their maybe SEC filings, I guess.
Right. Well, thank you anyway. I mean, that was a pretty engrossing review of St. Petersburg Exchange and very in-depth analysis. So, I mean, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dmitry. Thank you for having me. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your investors, and I guess we will see in the future.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.